Hey everybody, Michael Kern here with Pure Pursuit Automotive. Talk about our newest acquisition, a 2013 Porsche Carrera 4. We'll start at the trunk. Usually there's an engine here, but Porsche likes to be different and put the engine in the back, so we'll start off with the trunk. Surprisingly large front trunk for rear engine vehicle. If you can fit a body in there, that's great. We have the handle here, you can get out in case you trap someone. You have access to some various things, your wiper fluid, stuff like that. Kind of move on down. Updated front end from the 2013s. You have your LED running lights there, as well as updated headlights. We'll start off here at the front wheel. 20-inch wheels covering up some slotted and cross-drilled rotors. You have your calipers there, painted in gray, a little more subtle of a touch. Come on up here. Fuel tank in the front, a little bit different, kind of hard to get used to. We'll come on here, we'll take a general look inside the interior, we'll move on, we'll talk about that in more detail later. Just kind of look in there. Leather sports seats. Interesting feature about the Carrera 4s, the wheelbase is slightly longer than the normal Carrera, but the length of the car is still the same. Also, the rear tires are wider than the normal Carrera, just for the all-wheel drive. We'll come on back to the back here. A deployable spoiler. There's a button in the interior. We'll go over that a little bit, raises and lowers. Here's your engine. The classic 3.4 naturally aspirated flat 6. Another unique feature to the Carrera 4 is this light bar here, connecting the two rear taillights. It works as a running light as well as a brake light. Another unique feature of these vehicles is when under heavy braking, these rear lights will light up and flash to warn traffic behind you that there's serious braking going on. Come down the exhaust, two large exhaust outlets. All right, we'll move on up here. This thing's nice and warmed up, so I'm gonna hop in, rev it a little bit, let you hear the sound of the engine. We're going to start off here with some of the buttons down here. This is the PDK. There's several sport buttons here. General Sport stiffens things up, quicker shifts, etc. Sport Plus, that's a more unique feature. Coupled with the PDK, as you can see up here, there's a little bar here. It shows your Sport as well as your Sport Plus. This vehicle has launch control, very useful feature, especially when you're trying to race your friends, but you should do that on the public road. All right, coming down, moving down, we have traction control off. You're going to hold that down for about a second. That way it engages, so that there's no unintended turning it off, because that could be trouble. All right, coming over here, we have the rear wing, which is set up earlier. Red light on means the wing's up. Hold it down. Light off, wing is down. This also has the start-stop controls. Very useful feature when you're driving around town, in traffic, so that sort of thing. Cuts the engine off, saves you fuel, more efficient, better for everybody. Now, right here, these are where the sunroof controls are instead of the traditional, where they used to be up in the top. Several different settings here. You have your controls for your shade up here. Close it, open it. There's also a setting here. You can have it open, have some air moving in there, but not fully open. And then there's the fully open mode. Very cool feature on this vehicle. The sunroof slides back over the top of the car. It looks awesome. One piece of glass. That's really, really cool. All right, we're going to move on up here. Kind of in the HVAC system. Nothing too extraordinary up here. You have your settings for driver and passenger, as well as your heated seats for both. Moving up here, we'll start with this, the navigation and media screen. So you have several different settings here. You can use your radio. You can also have your AM, FM radio, obviously. You also have satellite radio. You have your CDs, if anyone uses those anymore. There's a jukebox, which is an internal hard drive. You can just plug your data card into it, full of your songs. That way they're always on your car. And also you have a great feature, which I love, my personal favorite, is Bluetooth audio. That way you can hook it up through your phone. See, my phone's currently connected. You can play music through your phone, your iTunes, Spotify, whatever, plays right through here. Going off the phone, we come over here to the phone settings. Again, my phone's connected. Once again, you have your phone features. You can dial your number. You have your phone book in here, which automatically downloads from your phone, which is a great feature. Going back, previous calls, missed calls, messages, emails, texts, great stuff. You have everything right here. That way you don't have to be searching around, fumbling with your phone. It's all right here. Go on to the navigation. Enter addresses. You have your previous destinations, so places you've recently gone to. Stored destinations, home, work, lake house, things like that. You can store them in here. That way, very easily accessible if you're not searching through the menus and entering it. Points of interest, you have your banks, your parks, your national parks, stuff like that, are all be in there. Going here to the map. All right, map, here we go. You have several different levels of zoom. You can have all the way in, or you can go out and get your better overview. And as you can see, some points of interest already listed. So as you can see, places like there's some parking, parks, apartment complexes, such as things like that, hospitals, whatever you're looking for. Come down here to car, several different settings here. You have your time, date, exterior temperature, and your current range. And scroll over, there's some trip data here, average speeds, consumption, stuff like that. Moving over, we'll click sound here. Several different sound settings. You can, your bass, treble, balance, surround sound, stuff like that. All right, now we'll move on over here to the gauge cluster and steering wheel. As you can see, this gauge here, you can scroll through several different settings and you can do everything right here. That way you don't have to be glancing down at the screen here, getting distracted. The way you control it is with this stalk right here. They're up and down and enter and back are both listed on the stalk, so you can see what you're doing. So we'll kind of scroll through here. Currently it's on audio, it says auxiliary Bluetooth, so you can see kind of what music. So if I selected a song, it would say artist and album. Scrolling down, phone settings shows my current signal strength as well as carrier, date. It'll show if you're in a call with someone, it'll show their name and call time. Next we have the map here, very helpful feature. And you can set your zoom here. You can do manual zoom, auto zoom. You have a 3D map where it's kind of more slanted down. You can see kind of buildings, and you have north up or just whatever direction the car's going in. Back out. Next you have your navigation. It'll be able to show you all your navigation right here on the screen. That way you're focused on the road and not down here and fiddling with stuff. It shows you turn here, shows your distances to the next turn, all great stuff. Going down, trip. Again, here's your trip information. Tire pressure monitoring system right here. That way you don't have to go around checking your tires with the monitoring gauge. You can just see it all right here. Go down, more vehicle settings. So you have your oil pressure, your oil temperature, stuff like that. That way you can kind of monitor it and keep a good idea of what's going on. All right, in the center gauge, you have your tachometer. That way, Porsche likes to have that right in the center. That way you don't have to take your eyes off. You don't have to be looking around for the tach. It's right in the middle. That way, if you're at a track and you're doing your shifting, you know exactly what you're doing here. Mile an hours as well. Shows your miles an hour. You can change that to kilometers an hour if you felt the need to do that. And then you have various settings for oil temperature and pressure. Moving to the steering wheel, the PDK, as I showed earlier, shows your Port Plus launch control. And you have your paddle shifters here. Porsche is a little different. There's not a designated up and down, left and right. Both sides have up and down. That way, if you're just using one hand, or for some reason, you can do everything from there. So pushing it in makes it go up. Pushing it back makes it go down. Finally, we're going to talk about the home link. You have 3 settings here for your garage door. So there's no cumbersome clickers you have to put up here. It's all right there. You can turn off your parking sensors up here. I'm not really sure why you do that, but if you wanted to, you could, as well as lights. On here on the rear mirror, this button here turns on and off the auto dimming system. And do a little driving around, get an idea of comfort, kind of how the car works. So bear with me here. All right, now this car, the great thing about 911s is it's like a supercar that you can use every day. It's very comfortable in the comfort setting. It doesn't wear you out like most sports cars would, most two-door sports cars. But then again, it also is very, very quick. I'll put it here in Sport Plus mode. Get a sense of acceleration. As you can probably hear and see, that was pretty quick. Great car. So you can have your fun on the weekend. You can go to out in the hills and drive around and have a great time, and also be able to drive back and not be totally sore. Now the Sport Plus system, now it's more of a true racetrack feel. So as you can hear, the car likes to have the revs high. That way you can get the most out of the car. It's not really a great driving around setting, just because it'll waste a lot of fuel and it'd be kind of obnoxious. But it's great when the comfort mode and sport mode, especially sport mode's great for driving around town. Could get you in a little trouble though if you drive a little bit too vigorously. As I talked about earlier, the gauge cluster is so convenient. That way you can just easily scroll through all your settings. That way you don't have to look down here, take your eyes off the road. It's all right here. One of the more underrated features of the 911. All right, that'll conclude our test drive of the 2013 Porsche Carrera 4. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be on the lookout for more videos from us. Check out the car at purepursuitauto.com. Give us a call anytime at 816-659-3027. Thanks.